Hey, g'day, and welcome to the show. This week, my mate Lockie from Unique 4x4 and myself will be continuing our journey through the Victorian Alpine region, thanks to our good mates at the Caravan Industry Association of Victoria. We're towing 3 campers, and we're going to be exploring everywhere between Bright and Beechworth. Now, make sure you watch the whole episode, because later on, we're going to be getting right on the spirits, if you know what I mean, as we show you what's up down under.
It's time to see this land of wonder. It's time to go and see what's up down under. What's up down under.
Thanks to the guys at Mars, Johnno's and Goldstream, our third and final leg of the trip begins in Bright, where we'll be tackling the tallest mountain in the state, then heading up the road to Beechworth. Once we get there, we'll be testing out a brew or two before heading to one of the most haunted places in Australia. We'll even throw in a few tips from Daniel for the Caravan Industry Association of Victoria as well. Picking up from where we left off last week, we found ourselves in Bright at the lovely Bright Pine Valley Tourist Park. Before the next stage of the trip, we decided to have a look around at some of the tracks of the region. So as a precaution, we unhooked the Goldstream, Johnno's and Mars campers, because if you remember from the last episode of the trip, taking the campers down some tracks wasn't the smartest thing we've ever done. So to avoid another 12-hour recovery, we left them safe and sound back at the park in order to keep our luck on the right side. But as it turned out, not long after getting on the road, luck had run out for us once again. Somehow the valve stem on one of my tyres had come loose and was slowly letting all the wind out of the wheel, so we rolled into the nearest mechanic to try and suss it out before things really went pear-shaped. Although no one was 100% sure what caused it, I think the valve stem may have had a bit of a knock in the Bogong the other night, and then the cold mountain air overnight caused it to shrink and pop out of the rim. It's definitely something you should look out for on your own adventure when driving through this constantly changing climate in the Victorian high country at this time of year. So you can spend more time on the road having fun with the family and less time on the side of the road arguing about how the tyre got flat. Anyway, with some local assistance from the guys down at the mechanics and a few personal tweaks here and there, we got it all sorted and we were back out on the track. Just a little further out of town, we came across something that piqued our interest, so we went and had a little bit of a look. We're just out having a bit of a poke around the roads and tracks around Bright, and this big fella behind me looms up, bit of snow on the top of him. We checked the map, it's Mount Bogong. That's the highest mountain in Victoria. Now, on the map, there's a track that goes up it, and we're just trying to decide, should we or shouldn't we? What do you reckon, Lockie? What's on the track?
I reckon we should. It's actually got a lot of creek crossings, some steep climbs, some downhills, all the stuff you like.
Sounds like a disaster in the making to me. We doing it or not?
Let's give it a go.
Let's do it. Come on. Bitumen's all right, Lockie. It might be bitumen all the way to the top, mate.
Wishful thinking, Macca.
No, we're about to hit the dirt, but it's not a bad old track, this one.
Got a few creek crossings, some slippery up and downhill climbs.
But these two vehicles are pretty well set up for these conditions. Yeah, hopefully the rain stays away a bit, doesn't make it too greasy for us. But I think we've got all the gear between the two cars to be able to get out of anything.
Mate, if it ends up getting too slippery and we're not making the way, we can always come back down. Gravity should help with that. Before too long, we came across our first creek crossing on the track. What's the bottom of it like?
Very hard, good solid base.
A lot of people often comment that I've got a nice solid bottom.
I send my minions out to walk it.
You don't self-walk anymore, mate. Too important for that.
No, these ones I could see across the track was well good. It was a lot deeper, we'd be walking it.
Yeah, looks pretty sensible to me. So over we went, and as we crept up the twists and turns of the mountain track, Lockie continued to chime in with his tips all along the way.
So Macca, as you come down here, just watch out. Looks like whoever cut the tree here drives a Suzuki.
You find that a bit on these tracks, don't you? They don't give you a lot of room for a bigger four-wheel drive. We're gonna need a bigger chainsaw.
I always find it's much better to clear it right off the track, stop anyone having an incident with a tyre.
Last thing we want's to have an incident with a tyre, eh? I knew a bloke had an incident with a tyre once.
What happened there, Macca?
What happened there? The cameraman just got thrown around in the front of the car. That's what happened there. As we rolled over a few more climbs and creek crossings along the track, I was starting to get a little peckish, so I presented Lockie with a top idea. Mate, according to the map, we've got a T intersection maybe about a K in front of us. Looks like a camping area or something near it. There might be some barbies there or something. What do you reckon we stop and have some lunch?
Sounds like a plan, Macca. That's what I thought would come out.
No camping area, but I reckon we can still have a bit of lunch here.
We've got a table and a few things on board. We can sort it out here.
Get all civilised like.
Let's go.
When we've done that, mate, we might go back to Bright. My little Queensland bones are getting a bit cold here. So while we roll back down the hill, you guys can check out what Daniel from the Caravan Industry Association of Victoria has on offer for you this week.
Previously we've spoken about aftermarket items and the effects on your weights, but also by adding on aftermarket items you can also be affecting the regulations. Additionally, when you're using your caravan, you've got to be careful of your rules and regulations. As this vent, for an example, this vent is actually for the gas regulations. As we can see by opening up the door here, there's actually a sticker that says this vent must remain permanently open. So people tend to try to block the vents to keep the heat in the caravan, but unfortunately, this is actually for the regulations to allow the gas to escape. So the gas is coming from your stove here, and when you're burning and cooking, you're creating carbon monoxide, which can suffocate people inside the van. So that's what the purpose of the ventilation is. The one that we saw in the door, and also the one in the hatches. For this tip and any other caravanning tips, head to gomakesomememories.com.au.
After the break, we head on over to Beechworth.
What's up down under?
This episode is proudly brought to you by our partners, the Caravan Industry Association of Victoria. For help planning your next holiday, log on to gomakesomememories.com.au. Well, in the cold light of the morning, we braved the wet and wintry conditions, hooked up the Johnnos, the Mars and the Goldstream campers and departed Bright for our final destination of the trip. As the fog rolled over the hills, we made the quick trek down to Beechworth, which took us just under an hour. And although the roads were a little slippery, the campers handled them with no dramas at all. Home to over 2,000 residents and the once temporary home to the most famous outlaw of them all, Beechworth was put on the map during the Victorian Gold Rush era. The wealth of the town during that time has been kept in picture-perfect condition, and it's a must-see for any Australian traveller when visiting the region. During our time in Beechworth, we decided to stay at the Lake Samble Caravan Park, where I caught up with Mick to have a quick chat. Mick, pretty cool park to drive into. It sort of felt like I was driving through the middle of a park in town somewhere.
Yeah, it's one of them little places where we get grey nomads, we get the kids and families up here. They go up on the hill, tents and have their campfires, roasting marshmallows. Yeah, very close to town, 15-minute walk into town.
Bit of history around Beechworth. What is there for people to explore?
Well, they do the historical walk around town, a guided tour. A couple of the pubs had Ned Kelly back in the day when he got out of jail and had a bit of a fight out the back of one pub. And,
really?
Yeah, so...
We might reenact that tonight. A lot of accommodation options here in Beechworth. Why would someone choose to stay here rather than any of the others, mate?
Oh, we offer something a lot different. Caravanners come in, they have a problem, we get out and we help them. Our cabins are spotless, our cleaners do a wonderful job. We're too happy to help anyone. We've had to do welding jobs on caravans, we've had to fix up gas lines, hot water cylinders. Yeah, we just go that extra mile for our guests.
Yeah, excellent. And it's an awesome environment. So I'm chasing a little bit of local knowledge. Where can I go and wet my whistle, mate?
Well, I reckon you should try Bridge Road Brewery. The guys there brew their own beer.
Why would I knock back a bit of local knowledge like that? I'll catch up with you shortly. Now, while I find a spot for the Johnnos and Mitch sets up the Goldstream, here's Ali to tell us all about the Mars camper.
Whether you're looking for a comfortable off-roader or a spacious camper trailer for the whole family, you should definitely take a look at Mars Campers. This is the Spirit Deluxe. You'll be camping in such comfort that if it wasn't for the birds chirping and the fresh dew in the morning, you'd hardly notice you didn't sleep in your own bed. And when it comes to off-roadability, the Spirit Deluxe is outstanding. This camper has massive ground clearance provided by big 16-inch wheels, as well as dual shock trailing arm independent suspension. This trailer can go wherever your 4x4 can take it. Even the most experienced off-roaders can get stuck. And if your off-road adventure does get a little hairy, the Spirit Deluxe can recover itself and your vehicle thanks to the 2 massive recovery points on the rear of the trailer. Whether you're on powered sites or out on the open road, the Spirit Deluxe comes with batteries, a power panel, an Anderson plug and a charger as standard, so you can keep your fridge and any other essentials running for weeks. The Spirit Deluxe boasts a modern kitchen equipped with a 3-burner cooker and a 120-litre water tank. There's plenty of storage, a clever pantry and heaps of preparation space. So you'll have all you need to make yourself a cuppa on the side of the road or whip up a feast that entices the whole campsite. And when you've made it to your little piece of paradise, it really is amazing how quickly and easily the Spirit can be set up. Internal storage is generous, and you'll be sure to find a place to store all of your camping needs, like behind here. Inside the trailer, you have a raised queen-size bed and dining area, as well as space for the kids. With over 20 dealerships around Australia, Mars Campers offers award-winning products that are simply out of this world. To find out more, go to marscampers.com.au.
You should always purchase products and services from the members of the Caravan Industry Association of Victoria. Their code of ethics ensures that you will always receive quality and integrity. Find out more about who's a member by logging on to gomakesomememories.com.au. After the break, we're going to get stuck into some of Beechworth's finest.
What's up, down under?
This episode is proudly brought to you by Jono's Camper Trailers. To find out more, go to campertrailer.com.au. We all know that life's luxuries never end at Nova Caravans, and that, my friends, is not going to change. But I'll tell you what could change shortly is your luck, because your mates at Nova have decided to give away a Bravo caravan worth over $59,000. Inside the Bravo, you're going to discover a queen-size bed, full ensuite, single-piece roof, single-piece floor, and all the bells and whistles that you could possibly need to get out and enjoy yourself. So get online and enter at whatsupdownunder.com.au. Now, you can only enter once a day, but you can enter every day. So get busy and get on it. All the way to Beechworth, everywhere we've stopped, everyone said you got to go to the Bridge Road Brewery. Who are we to deny them their request? Ben owns the place here. He set it up, started it all, and we're lucky enough to get a few minutes with him this afternoon. Mate, first of all, well done.
Cheers.
And there's no better way to greet someone at a brewery than to clink the glasses.
Yeah.
So the setup you've got here, is this where you started?
We started about 500 metres down the road in my parents' garage. Mum and Dad were kind enough to let me live rent-free and set up a brewery in their garage. So I spent about a year there before moving to here.
And we're off to the asylum tonight. You said this used to be the laundry for the asylum
Yeah,
as well?
someone told me at one point it was a commercial or industrial laundromat that used to do the laundry for the asylum, and I think the prison and the old people's home. So pretty dirty sheets, I imagine.
How many beers do you make?
We did 50 last year, 50 different beers. We have about 10 or 12 at any one time. We always have 10 on tap. We're always messing around doing something different.
You don't muck around with it either. Look at you. Look how much is left in yours.
Yeah, I've got more nerves than you, mate.
Yeah, you could take a leaf out of my book, mate. Clean your act up a little bit. Hey, you wouldn't have 5 minutes to give us a bit of a look around how you
Yeah,
do
sure.
it,
I can show you around. We can have a look out the back.
Sweet. Thanks, mate.
Cool.
Looks like the last party at your shed, Macca.
I'd like a shed like this, mate.
So what it does is it infects the wood. The yeast gets into the wood and lives in there. So first you pitch it a few times and then it mutates a bit.
I used to go out with a girl who had the same problem.
They're pretty much all natural products that you're using.
Yeah, it's just water, malt, hops, and some yeast.
Pretty much a health drink.
Well, that was a good little find.
How good was Ben? Teach us all about beer and the history of this place.
Mate, what about this asylum? I want to go up there and see if we can find a ghost.
I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, I am too, but I still got to go.
Let's go.
Now, while we head up to the asylum, you guys at home can check out this little gem from Diesel Care. Well, this is my tow vehicle and I've had a chip on it from day one. I disconnected it a while ago because it was blowing heaps of smoke. But the boys at Diesel Care reckon the Steinbauer module will fix the problem up. I'm prepared to give it a go. I really miss the power. Built in Austria, the Steinbauer power module is a highly advanced programmable electronic computer module that can increase torque and power by up to 20%. The Steinbauer alters the signal to the injectors to optimise fuel injection quantities at certain points, which means you won't have to change gears as often and you can do the same job at lower RPMs. Once the module's been installed under the bonnet, it's onto the dyno to see what changes it's made. So what does all this actually mean?
So down low, we've got you a good 35% increase in power and torque, and up the top end there, we're up to a good 25% increase, which will make a good difference when you put your van on.
Well, there you go. Once again, the numbers never lie, as my good old maths teacher used to say. I didn't even have to drop a gear going up there. Very impressive indeed. So if it's more power you want, then it's the Steinbauer power module that you need. For more information, just go to dieselcare.com.au. Very impressive. After the break, we go ghost hunting at Mayday Mental Asylum.
What's up down under?
Win an Armour XD walk-up camper from Armadillo Campers valued up to $35,940. To enter, subscribe to the What's Up Down Under Travel Saver card for 12 months and receive one competition entry, plus our bi-monthly magazine and bonus DVDs. Thousands of discounts on holiday parks, tours, attractions. Subscribe for 2 years and receive 2 bonus entries. To find out more, just log on to whatsupdownunder.com.au/armadillo.
These days, customers are looking for more and more storage in their vans. By adding on aftermarket items, even upgrading suspensions, customers are calling about these days. You've got to be careful of your rules and regulations that apply to those though. As an example here, you've got your rims, your tyres, your axles and your brakes. They've got a certain weight capacity that they can be maximum at the moment, so you can't exceed those items. The other important area for your weight capacity is the front of your van. Now there's 3 key things up here that affect your weight. Your drawbar itself has a regulation. Your coupling here has a rating, and in this case, it's 3.5 tonne. And also your safety chains have a stamping on them that tells you the weight capacity of those as well. So when you're looking at adding aftermarket modifications or increasing the capacity of your caravan, make sure you take each of these items into consideration. For this tip and any other caravanning tips, head to gomakesomememories.com.au.
Well, we've been 100% successful and managed to find the asylum, and to top it off, they run tours. What do you reckon, Lockie? We get amongst it?
A bit scary, I'm packing my Dax, Macca.
Packing his Dax. Let's do it. Now an abandoned mental asylum, the grim history of this very spooky place is told by locals like our tour guide, Laura.
There are a number of restricted areas throughout the tour, restricted for a very good reason, and that is that us guides don't like what's on the other side of those doors. So if you happen to wander in there and get lost, you're stuck there. And if there is anything standing behind me, do not tell me until the end of the tour. It is a sure way of getting yourselves left behind. At its height, we had anywhere between 1,200 to 1,500 patients here. Over 9,000 registered deaths. So as we're wandering through, I'll leave it up to you guys to work out how they crammed them all in. And before anyone asks, there were no such thing as bunk beds here at Mayday.
Keys in the bowl on the way in, if you don't mind.
So your single lady cells, they're about 30 centimetres bigger than a jail cell. Depending on your behaviour, you may actually find yourself shackled to the walls of these cells. Each one of our cells still has its original doors, so big, thick wooden doors, tiny little spy holes, and if we get this right, gouge marks in the timber where the ladies have tried to claw their way out. Not only does this door have gouge marks, but over here, We have teeth marks.
It's a bit freaky.
I felt as though my chances of finding a ghost were a little slim to say the least, so I decided to take a more hands-on approach.
Are you comfortable?
Oh yeah, bone comfortable. I always wanted to lay on one of these.
As a patient here at our hospital, if you were to pass away, it was compulsory that we performed an autopsy. So this meant we sliced you open a Y cut in your chest, cracked your ribs, removed your lungs, your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your stomach, your heart. Eventually we'd slice the top off your head and scoop out your brain. They were all weighed and measured and documented. And if you were lucky and they looked pretty, we may even stick them into a jar in the superintendent's lab.
Righto, that's enough audience participation from me. I'm out of here. Well, folks, that's the end of today's episode. It's also the end of our Victorian Alpine Region tour. It's been a great time. Lockie from Unique 4x4's been there with me, giving me a hand for that, mate. Thank you.
Anytime, Macca.
It's been great. The Caravan Industry Association of Victoria stepped in too, and they made it all possible, along with Jono's Camper Trailers, Goldstream and Mars Campers. Now, it's over for today, as I said, but we'll be back again next week, so come along for that, and we'll show you what's up down under.
What's up down under?